My husband said he slept at a friend's house, but I found a hotel charge on his bank statement. When I confronted him, he claimed it was for his sister, who was visiting from another country that night. Hello Reddit, I never thought I'd find myself here, but after everything that's happened, I need to share this story. My husband and I have been together for 8 years, married for 5. We've had our ups and downs, like any couple, but I always believed we had trust, at least. I wanted to believe that. Lately, though, things have felt off. It wasn't anything obvious at first, just little things. He started coming home later than usual, his phone suddenly had a passcode, and he seemed distant, like his mind was somewhere else. I told myself not to overthink it, that he was just stressed with work. But deep down, something wasn't sitting right with me. Then came that night, the night everything changed. It was a Friday evening when he casually mentioned he'd be staying over at his friend Mark's place after their usual guys' night. Nothing unusual on the surface, he'd done it before. Still, something about the way he said it felt rehearsed. His eyes didn't meet mine. Call it intuition, call it paranoia, but my stomach twisted in a way I couldn't ignore. I almost asked more questions, but stopped myself. I didn't want to be the nagging wife, always suspicious. So I forced a smile and told him to have fun. But after he left, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Hours dragged on. Midnight came and went. I found myself pacing the living room, glancing at my phone, debating whether to text him. I finally did, just a simple, "Hope you're having fun, good night." And waited. No reply. I tried to brush it off, telling myself he was just enjoying his night out. But when 2 a.m. rolled around with still no response, my heart started pounding. Out of impulse, or maybe desperation, I logged into our shared bank account. We've always been open about finances, so it wasn't unusual for me to check. I told myself I was just looking for peace of mind. And that's when I saw it. The hotel charge. My breath caught in my throat. There it was, clear as day. A payment to a hotel just 20 minutes from our home, time-stamped an hour ago. My mind raced, heart pounding in my chest. Was there some logical explanation? Maybe Mark had booked a room for some reason? But why would my husband be the one paying for it? I refreshed the page, praying I was seeing things, but the charge was still there, glaring back at me like a slap to the face. A flood of emotions hit me: confusion, anger, fear. I wanted to call him right then and there, demand an explanation, but something held me back. I needed to think. I sat on the couch, staring at the transaction, every possible scenario running through my mind. None of them made sense. He said he was at Mark's. So why was there a hotel involved? Was he meeting someone? Was I just jumping to conclusions? I felt like I was suffocating, torn between wanting to believe him and the gut-wrenching realization that something was very, very wrong. Minutes felt like hours. I kept checking my phone, waiting for a text, a call, anything. Around 3 a.m., he finally texted back, "Sorry, phone died. Crashed at Mark's. See you tomorrow morning, love you." Love me? I stared at the words, bile rising in my throat. Love me? After what I just saw? I didn't reply. I couldn't. My hands were shaking too much. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat there, replaying everything in my head, heart racing, mind spiraling. By morning, I knew I had to confront him, but I also knew I had to be careful. I needed answers, and I needed to hear them from him directly. The tension was unbearable, my mind a whirlwind of dread and disbelief. I kept thinking, what if I'm wrong? What if there's a perfectly good explanation? But no matter how much I tried to justify it, the evidence was right there. A hotel charge, a lie, and a husband who suddenly had a lot of explaining to do. And that, Reddit, is where everything started unraveling. The confrontation that followed would bring even more shocking revelations, ones I wasn't remotely prepared for. Morning came, but it didn't feel like a new day, just a continuation of a sleepless, spiraling nightmare. I sat on the couch, coffee untouched, staring blankly at the front door, waiting for him. Every creak of the floorboards, every car passing outside made my heart pound. My mind kept racing, replaying the hotel charge in my head like a broken record. Maybe it's a misunderstanding, a small voice whispered. Maybe there's an explanation. But another voice, louder, snapped back. He lied to you. It was around 9 a.m. when I finally heard his keys jingle outside. My stomach twisted into knots. The door opened, and there he was, same as always, hair slightly messy, dressed in the clothes from last night, acting like nothing was wrong. He smiled. Hey, babe, he said, closing the door behind him. Late night. Mark and I drank more than we should have. I just sat there, hands clenched in my lap. Stay calm, I told myself. Don't explode. Not yet. Fun night? I asked, my voice tight. He didn't seem to notice, or maybe he didn't want to. Yeah, he shrugged, kicking off his shoes. Same old, same old. I stared at him, my heart pounding so loudly I thought it might echo in the room. Mark's, huh? He froze, just for a split second, but I saw it. The tiniest flicker of something in his eyes before he masked it with another smile. Yeah. Why? Now. I pulled out my phone, opened the banking app, and turned the screen toward him. The hotel charge glared back at us both like a spotlight in a dark room. Explain this, I said, voice sharper now, trembling but determined. His face went pale. His eyes darted from the screen to me and back again. What is that? He asked, feigning confusion, but it was too late. I'd seen the panic. The cracks were showing. You tell me, I snapped. You said you were at Mark's. So why is there a hotel charge from last night? For a moment, he just stood there, lips parting like he wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. Then, like flipping a switch, he sighed and rubbed his face. Look, he started. This isn't what it looks like. Oh, really? I cut him off, my voice rising. Because it looks like you lied to me. There was a long, suffocating pause. My heart was pounding, adrenaline flooding my veins. He glanced away, jaw tight, then back at me. It was for my sister, he said finally. I blinked. What? That was the last thing I expected. Your sister. She flew in last minute, he said quickly, like the words couldn't come out fast enough. She needed a place to stay. Everything was booked. I paid for the room. That's it. My mind scrambled to process that. His sister had mentioned possibly visiting a few months ago, but we hadn't heard anything recently. Why wouldn't she just stay with us? Why didn't you tell me? I asked, suspicious. It was late, he shrugged. Didn't think it was a big deal. She called last minute, said her flight got delayed and she needed a room. I helped her out. I wanted to believe him. I desperately wanted to believe him, but something felt off. His sister lives overseas, sure, but wouldn't she have told me she was coming? Wouldn't he have mentioned it earlier? And why the secrecy? Why lie about being at Mark's? Where is she now? I pressed. She left early, he said without hesitation. Had another flight this morning. Convenient. Too convenient. And she couldn't stay here because... He waved a hand. She didn't want to impose. You've been stressed lately. Thought it was easier this way. His answers were coming too fast, too smooth, like he'd rehearsed them. My head was spinning. Part of me wanted to scream, to accuse him of everything I was thinking. But another part, the one holding onto the tiniest thread of hope, wanted to check first. What if he's telling the truth? Call her, I said finally. His eyes widened. What? Call your sister. Right now. He hesitated too long. She's probably on the plane, he said. Won't answer. Try anyway. He pulled out his phone, scrolling, but I noticed his fingers shaking. He tapped something, put the phone to his ear, and let it ring. Once. Twice. Voicemail. See, he said, lowering it. Told you. My gut twisted. This wasn't adding up. None of it. But without proof, I was stuck between disbelief and denial. I wanted to scream, why are you lying to me? But what if I was wrong? He sighed, walking over and placing a hand on my shoulder. Babe, you're overthinking this. I know it looks bad, but I promise, it's not what you think. But that sinking feeling in my chest? It wouldn't go away. And that's when I made a decision. If he wasn't going to give me the truth, I'd find it myself. I waited until he went to shower, claiming he was exhausted from his long night. I grabbed my phone, heart pounding, and did what I should have done earlier. I texted his sister. "Hey, just checking. Did you visit last night? Hope everything's okay." Minutes crawled by. My pulse thundered in my ears. Finally, a reply. "No? I'm still in Madrid." "Why?" The world tilted beneath me. My hands went ice cold. My chest tightened. He lied. Not just a little white lie, an elaborate, calculated one. Rage, betrayal, heartbreak, all of it surged through me at once. I could hear the shower running upstairs, oblivious to the storm brewing just below. Tears blurred my vision, but I wiped them away. "Not now. Stay strong." When he came back downstairs, towel-drying his hair, I was ready. I held up my phone, showing him the text. His face drained of color. "What the hell, Tom?" My voice shook, but not with fear. With fury. "Explain this." He opened his mouth, but no words came out. No quick excuse, no slick explanation. Just guilt. Raw, undeniable guilt. And that, Reddit, was the moment everything shattered. What happened next? Well, let's just say things got even worse. Silence. That's what I remember most after showing him my sister-in-law's text, the kind of suffocating, heavy silence that seems to stretch for miles. Tom stood there, dripping water from his hair onto the floor, mouth slightly open as he tried to form words. But what could he possibly say? I had him. There was no excuse, no way to twist this. His lie had crumbled in front of us both. He started, but I held up my hand, my entire body trembling with a cocktail of rage, heartbreak, and something else, relief. Relief that my gut hadn't lied to me. "Don't," I said, voice low and shaking. Don't insult me with another lie." He ran a hand through his hair, looking anywhere but at me. Seconds ticked by like hours. I could hear the hum of the fridge, my own pulse pounding in my ears. And then, finally, he sighed, the kind of sigh that lets everything cave in. "Okay," he muttered, eyes fixed on the floor. "You're right. I wasn't at Mark's." My heart clenched. "Here it comes." I met someone," he said, voice barely above a whisper. Like if he said it quietly enough, it wouldn't be real. It didn't mean anything, just. I don't know. I was stupid. Met someone. The words echoed in my head, each syllable slicing through me. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to hurt him like he just hurt me. But I stood there, frozen. "How long?" I asked. My voice sounded foreign, hollow. Tom rubbed the back of his neck. "A few months." Months. Months of lies, of him kissing me goodnight while meeting her. I felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. My knees wobbled, but I stayed standing. I had to. "Who is she?" I forced out. Part of me didn't want to know, but another part had to. "Someone from work," he said quickly. "It's over, I swear it's over. Last night was a mistake. I was ending it." "At a hotel?" I shot back. "That's how you end things?" He flinched. "Good. Let him feel even a fraction of this pain." "I messed up," he said, stepping toward me. I stepped back. "Please, don't let this destroy us." It was a stupid fling, nothing more. "I love you." "Love?" My chest burned. "You don't do this to someone you love." Tears blurred my vision again, but I refused to let them fall. "Not now." He kept pleading promises, apologies, words that once might have meant something but now sounded like static. My head was spinning. 8 years together, 5 married. How do you even process something like this? But then, something inside me clicked. I thought about the nights I waited up, worrying. The gaslighting, the lies, the betrayal. And I realized I deserved so much better. "You made your choice," I said quietly. "And now I'm making mine." He paled. "Wait, please. We can fix this, therapy, whatever you want. Don't throw us away over one mistake." One mistake? This wasn't just a slip-up, it was months of deceit. My hands clenched into fists at my sides. "Pack a bag," I said, voice ice. "You're leaving." He protested, but I didn't hear it. I walked upstairs, shutting the door behind me. Sliding down to the floor, I let the tears come, then hot, angry, exhausted tears. How do you mourn a relationship while the person responsible is still downstairs begging for forgiveness? Eventually, I heard him leave, the door clicking shut. And with it, a chapter of my life closed too. It's been a few weeks since that night. I filed for separation. Friends and family rallied around me. Turns out, a few of them had a feeling, but didn't want to interfere. Tom sent flowers, texts, voicemails, all ignored. There's nothing left to say. Was it hard? God, yes. Ending something that was supposed to be forever hurts. But every day, I wake up a little lighter. I joined a gym, took myself on a weekend trip, small steps toward rediscovering me. And as for him? Last I heard, the fling found out about me and dumped him. Karma, I guess. To anyone reading this, torn between suspicion and denial, trust your gut. I wish I had sooner. I wasted months doubting myself when the truth was right there. If someone lies to you, manipulates you, that's on them. You deserve honesty. You deserve love without conditions. Walking away wasn't easy, but staying with someone who shattered my trust? That would have been worse. So here I am, hurt but healing. And for the first time in a long time, free. Thanks for listening, Reddit.